right, guys. Looks like the top of the hour. I see a couple people. Let's give it just a little minute. Just give it a minute here, guys. I'm hoping that this live stream is better this time. The last time we did this, the first time we did this, we had a connection issue. So definitely feel free to use the chat box and let me know if you're having any issues. Obviously, we'll get to some questions. So I see some. Well, we're starting to pick. We're starting to pick up. Awesome. I will be talking about Palantir. Just want to give a minute. Just as I see a lot of people joining right here. We're at 25 people right now. So 28. So I'm really happy that you guys are able to jump on. Very quick notice. Really was just thinking about doing a video, and I said, it's been a while since we did a live stream, and let's just go ahead and just do one on the quick thing. So all right, well, we're about a minute past 7, so I don't want to hold you guys up. I want to respect your time. But first of all, I just want to thank all you guys for joining. This is our second live stream. Again, we had connection issues the last time, so I'm hoping that this is much better. I tweaked some settings, so we'll see. Just crazy, but just a little over a month ago, we had our first live stream, which was really just celebrating 1,000 people in the community. Now we're here just about 5 weeks later, and we're over 6,300 people inside. So really just can't thank you guys enough for watching the videos and just discussing with me in the comments. Just really appreciate it. So thank you so much. All right. Other thing I just want to say too, really quickly. Really want to tell you guys how much I appreciated all the kind words about, when I shared about my grandfather passing. Really wasn't looking for sympathies. I just wanted you guys to know that, I'm trying to be pretty consistent with giving you videos, and last week was just pretty rough. He had taken ill, did the last IPO last week, and just got together before he had passed. So really just wanted you guys to know that I was still out there, but with your nice words, it just really makes me think how cool things are here. And I just really wanted this channel to do well because of that. So thank you guys for all of that. And again, thank you for jumping on today. So anyways, we've got 46 people on right now, so we're doing pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just talk about Palantir. It's a company we've talked about probably in about 5 videos. And just, wanted to give you ideas from where we did when we did the comprehensive video with some of the pricing action way it may have been what it was. And so hopefully this will help me share my thoughts. And as you guys know, I'm no means an expert for any of these things. It's just something I enjoy doing. And again, just really trying to share what I know. And I always learn from you guys too in the comments. So definitely keep those up. So today, the stock traded a little later than we expected. I was expecting it usually a lot of these tend to go between 11 and 12 o'clock. I actually had a doctor's appointment this morning. I thought I'm going to miss this. And I got back and it still hadn't started. Looked like it traded sometime between 1 and 2 from what I could tell. And I was sort of following. I think it was about maybe 20 to 2. And it opened at $10. And so a lot of you guys might have questions on, well, we started hearing this price of $7.25 last night, and that was just given as a reference price. And the reason that they gave that price was, I think it's a couple things. So if you watched IPO this week, and we talked about the comprehensive video, one of the things that they were floating last week was about $11.50. Okay, and honestly, based on where that was trading privately. And again, this is just my thoughts, so that's why I'm always very careful about this. I thought that was going to be high. And the reason I thought it was going to be high, and I have some numbers here, when you looked at the last month of trading on the private markets, that was sort of the range that it was in between. And it was, let me see here. It was priced, the average price was $7.31 throughout the month of August. And then it traded on the last day of September when they closed it for private trading, and that was around $9.17. Now, what sort of makes sense that you think, okay, well, that's what it's going to trade at. But once it becomes more liquid, being on public markets, there's going to be a bounce. So my first thought was this, this is pretty high, this 1150, and that's going to leave people disappointed because it's going to go down. So yesterday it comes up and we see $7.25. Now, as you guys have watched IPOs, a lot of you I know are newer, and it's something, that I'm always learning about myself. But typically the IPO price comes out and usually it's up higher than that. And there's reasons for that. And mostly so that there's a perception that the IPO was successful. With a direct listing, it's a little bit different because there are no pricing sets by the underwriters, because there are no underwriters, not making any new shares. And so when you look at the whole situation of what it was, then they want to be successful. 1150 was going to be high. And again, what we saw happen with trading was it got close to that. So it opened around $10. I think it got as high as $11.42 before it started settling down. And we're getting to, I think we closed around 950 or very close to that. So in my mind, that's probably where I expected it to be, just based on thinking, okay, privately it was trading in that $7 range. The announcement that they were going to do the direct listing came out. So I looked at that last day, that they could trade, which was around $9 and whatever it is, $9.17. And I thought, well, that's probably where it's going to be because we're starting to price in being public at that point. Now, what you don't know, and this is the analysis part, what you don't know is how much interest there's going to be. And I really feel Palantir was sort of smart on this. Typically in direct listings, you don't have lockups of shares. And what they did was they locked up 80% of their shares. And we've talked about that in the previous videos. So the purpose of that, why it was helped sort of buoy the share price, is that if you have 100% of the shares on the market, there's only so many people ready to buy it. And so what tends going to happen is, the supply is high, the demand is only so high, and it's going to push the price down. So that would have been very concerning. So what happened is if only putting 20% out, then that sort of keeps the supply a little bit more limited. And of course, whatever the demand is, people are going to, if they want it, they're going to buy it. And there are some people, and I've learned just from on the comments and reading other things that we know. There's a lot of interest in this company. There are people that love it, and there are people that just hate it. I'm assuming most of you that are on here probably like it, or at the very least, you're just interested in trading the company. So you just don't know what the demand is going to be. There's been a lot of negative publicity, and as you can see, they kept sort of putting out new amendments. It's not typical to have 6. They have 6 amendments to the S1 filing. And so when you start considering all that, you got to think, okay, they knew that there's some negative stuff, so they wanted to fix it. And I personally think that when the reference price became 725, which was actually lower than the average, volume weighted trade in August, that they wanted to be perceived as being successful. And at one point during the day, it was over 50% of that. So in that regard, it was successful. People will always ask me, what I think, what should you do? And I'm never gonna tell you should buy it or not. I will tell you, because I'm pretty open. I did not buy today. That does not mean I won't buy. In my mind, I was thinking right around that $9 would probably be a fair trade, and probably still think there's opportunity for it to be lower at some point. But I did not buy it. Doesn't mean I won't though. And if you bought it at $10 or $11.42, it doesn't mean it's a bad buy. It's just something, I always try to look at that valuation and see what it is. My thoughts are it could go, coming in at the end of December. So we talked about this in the video, and I just want to bring this up. We talked in the other videos that when the lockups expire, then you have the other 80% of the shares hitting the market. And obviously, we don't know what is going to happen when that happens. We don't know what kind of news is going to come out in the next 3 months. And typically with an IPO, typically what happens is it's 180 days. And again, with a direct listing, usually there's not a lockup. But in the case of Palantir, they decided to do it, but it's not that 180 days. The lockup actually expires after the fiscal year of 2020 is reported, and their fiscal year ends on December 31st. So I believe it's 3 days after. So early in January, we're going to get some information, and then that's when the shares are going to hit. Now, that does not mean that everybody that has shares that have been locked up are going to sell them right away. That does not mean that. But it's a possibility that a high percentage of it could be. And so then again, you have that big supply hitting, and then whatever the demand is, that could push your price down. So you want to keep in mind, if you bought shares, or whether you had them privately beforehand, and I know some of you have told me that you had, if you bought them today or if you buy them in the next couple of months, you sort of want to keep an idea and see what the news is, and see if it makes sense to keep it, or maybe to start thinking about trading before that time happens. Now I will tell you, if you wait till December 29th, everybody else is already preparing for it. So the price would start to be low if there's a lot of feeling that the stock's going to trade that way. So anyways, just wanted to share a little bit with you on that. So that typically, when I look at, is this successful? I'm running this channel now, obviously, and we talk a lot about IPOs, and really that's what we're really focusing on now. And that's not really what the channel has started to be on. But I look at them, but I'm not always that day one person. And I don't even buy a majority. And we cover a bunch of them, on IPO this week. There's been 10 to 15 in the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy. I only buy a select ones. And when I do, it's not always on day one, because of what you saw with Snowflake. We saw Snowflake, and that was just insane. And I have not bought, and for anybody that did, the shares price has recovered a little bit. So hope you guys, if you bought it, you're not feeling so bad about it. And it could still go up. I mean, we just don't know. But you sort of have in your mind which you think you're willing to pay, and that's where you go. So this week, with the direct listings, we didn't have the underwriters with Asana and Palantir. So that's why I did that little extra valuation of what they trade on the private markets. Hope you guys found that was helpful. If you thought that was helpful, definitely always push that like button. It definitely help the channel as well. So anyways, that's sort of my view of how Palantir did today. And I really just want to sort of take a look at what you guys, there's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. So let me see if there's anything that you guys have any questions that I can help answer or clarify. There's so much in there. Wow, you guys are doing a great job. And hi to everybody. I see a lot of familiar names. Ruben, I see you on there, and I know we've talked a couple of times about the low price of Palantir being justified. I believe justified is a tough word, because we look at and as somebody that has some share of Tesla, I bought it when everything was way down, and with the pandemic and all that. And the price is probably still high, but in my mind, I look at it's lower than what it's going to be, and there's momentum and whatnot. Snowflake's another one. It's hard to justify the price based on the financials, and sometimes you're looking really at that forward-looking thing. So with Tesla, when I look at Tesla, which is why I have it's not a huge stake in there, but I have some shares in there, is because to me they're unique in what they do, and they're definitely a leader of what they do. And in some cases, that still doesn't justify the value. And I wouldn't buy it now. But when I bought it, or I think it was around $650 a share, and that was before the split. That was the last time I bought it. And so I felt pretty good about it then, even though I still think it was high. With Palantir, I think the pricing is pretty spot on. Like I told you, from my perspective, I was looking around $9, and probably think I could, eventually it'll go a little under that, barring some major announcement that they have a new big customer. And who knows if that's going to happen. And if they can report it, because Palantir is still it's a secretive company in a lot of ways, and they really structured the company to be, that the owners are going to have the control, and there's reasons for that. And so I don't, to me, that wasn't a deal breaker. If I was Carl Icahn, who does this and buys shares and tries to take over the company, then I wouldn't buy it. But for this company, I think the valuation makes sense to me. Just what you don't know is what the what the interest is going to be, what the demand, and I think what we saw is there's demand, but it's not crazy like what happened with Snowflake. And so do I think it's justified? I think it's justified. I don't call it a low price. If it was trading at $6, I would be like, whoa, did I miss something? But knowing where it was trading privately, the valuation of the company has changed. The biggest concern I have for Palantir, and I've shared this in the video, is I think it's a good company just from the government business. I really do. What I'm not sure about is the growth in that commercial or private sector. If they grow that, then to me, I'd pay more than whatever it's going for right now. I would definitely pay more than what it's going for right now. But I want to see that. And so for me, I'm going to watch this price. And and somebody commented today. I can't remember who told me that, but that they had bought some shares, and and I replied, and I really do try to reply as much as possible. But what they did said made sense. I bought some now. Let's take a look at and see where we're, and then I'll buy more as it makes sense. And to me, that's the best strategy, especially when I know 80% of the shares will be coming out in 3 months. What's going to happen there? So I wouldn't go crazy all in. I don't know what the price will do. It could double tomorrow. And then you can look at me and say, well, what am I talking about? But again, just trying to use my experience of what I've seen, I try to share that. So anyways, let's see what else we got here. Definitely add questions. And there's so many here, so this is going to take me a while. I'm not seeing, at least quickly, I'm not seeing a lot of stuff about connection issues. So hopefully that was fixed. So James, you asked about Snowflake and Palantir. So I talked a little bit about that. I don't know if you missed it. And just to really hit that point home, because I think it is important. Snowflake, I like Snowflake as a company. I don't love it like some people do. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. But the thing about Snowflake, there's not a lot to not like about Snowflake. Like, they are in the cloud, which everybody knows that's where it's growing. If you've invested in Amazon, you know that the AWS, that part of their business is really driving a lot of revenue. Snowflake is much younger than Palantir. Palantir's been around 2003, 2004. So you have that where, you haven't seen the profits. And I think, again, with Palantir is, what concerns me a little bit with them is also the compensation factor. I really feel like they should have been able to show some profit, at least here or there. They have some pretty high compensation. Now, some of how they explain it is because they do a lot, what they send their top people, like the CEO Carp. I mean, he'll go and travel, and he'll be the person that talks to a company to try to sell it. They have a lot of sales, whatnot. Previously, they had a lot of money that they had to put into getting getting the software implemented somewhere. That's why Foundry, definitely shows the potential that they may not have. And they actually have a project called Apollo that is supposed to help make this quicker. And so that price might go down as far as installing. But I think the thing with Snowflake, there's not a lot to not like about it. And everybody's talking about it. Snowflake doesn't have those geopolitical concerns, and again, we always say this, we're not talking politics. And I explained pretty clearly my thoughts about that on the video anyways, those considerations. But there are some people that just won't, they just won't. If someone's against immigration, how they tracked it with ICE, they're not going to buy it, and they have every right not to. that's a personal decision. Everybody, whether you decide you want to eat fast food or not, that's a personal decision. A company like this has a little bit more to that. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like they have the product, and then what someone does with it, that becomes questionable. But again, that's a decision we all have to make. And so I would never tell anybody what they should do or not do there. But Snowflake, the issue I have with Snowflake, it's a very good company. It's growing like crazy. And the issue that I have with it, though, is it's a cloud, and apparently their product is very good. But the issue with the cloud is they aren't the infrastructure of the cloud. And we don't really know long-term, or at least I don't know, and if someone, please correct me, but we don't know long-term if the money in the cloud is the people running the software sort of over the cloud or the people that actually build the cloud. And so those are your Amazon and Microsoft. So as I mentioned, or even Google. And so as I mentioned, in the one video, that they depend on them. And right now, I don't think that's going to change. So I don't think they're going to say, we're not going to give you our cloud so you can run your, so that Snowflake can run its product over it. But it's a risk. And again, I would much prefer they had their own, they did the infrastructure, but then that's a different cost. So, I don't know. That's just my thought. I would love to own Snowflake, but not, it's just too high for me. That doesn't mean it's too high, because I always say market, what people are willing to pay is what it is. So anyways, let's see what else we got here. You guys have a lot of good stuff. I see a hello from Toronto. Cool. We're international for sure now, so thank you. David, I know we've talked a little, we've talked a little bit back and forth. You're expecting 12 to 15. That's, again, I think that's reasonable. And again, I just think, in the short term, it may not get there, but it might, and any news can move this company up because it's not overpriced. I don't believe it's overpriced. And like where I feel Snowflake is probably right now, I don't feel Palantir is. That doesn't mean that it's not, but I don't feel that it is. So there's definitely upside. I tend to think there might be an opportunity to get a little bit less. So if you were thinking 12 to 15 is good, your opinion is no better than mine, or no worse than mine. I mean, mine's no better than yours, I should say. Go, but I would definitely use that cautious, maybe get a little bit now if you think that's where it's going to go, and then just add to it. I wouldn't do it all at once because I think it could still go down a little bit in the short term. So just my thought. Sean, any upcoming IPOs and SPACs that interest you? And I will be the first to tell you with the SPAC side. That's newer for me. I've never invested in one. I still haven't. And I know that's been the rage this year. And I'm still trying to find better ways to do it. There was some slowness right around Labor Day. So I did a video that was really mostly on some SPACs. It's a little harder because you can't dig into a filing because, there's a blank check company that comes up and you invest in it because you know what they're going to invest in, or who's running it, what the management team is. Like if a Peter Thiel, his name's on it, he's going to pull in money. SPACman, he puts out a SPAC, there's going to be money coming toward, but there's not much I know. And then once you talk about the reverse merger happening, so they identify a target, I think there's interest in when you're figuring out, but once they announce it, it's almost too late for me. So I'm trying to find a better way. So I think what I will do is I'm always going to focus on the IPOs as probably the number one part because of for two reasons. Number one, I'm more interested in that. But two, it's just, there's more from me that I think I can do for you. With the SPAC, I think I still can, and I want to get better at this. So hang in there for that. As far as upcoming IPOs, I just saw, I think was it yesterday or the day before, there's a bigger name coming out, is McAfee. So, you guys probably have known McAfee. They do, virus software, they've done it for years. And actually were they bought by Intel at one point. So I'm going to look more into that, but that name is it one that interests me because I'm somebody that definitely likes the established names. I saw Palmanex, who we talked about an IPO this week. I saw that they upsized their IPO by 33% more shares, and the pricing was higher. What I like a little bit about Palmanex, and again, not saying I'm going to buy them, but just give you an idea of how I think about this. They have a product that's already approved and out there. And to me, that's less risky when someone doesn't. If they don't have the approval, there's no guarantee that they're going to get the approval, and it could be years. And if you're willing to hold and sit for a long time, that's fine. But I always think that in those cases, you could probably wait a little bit longer as they get closer and jump in. So Asana, what do I think about Asana? I like Asana in a lot of ways, but would I tell you what I don't like about them? And this will keep me, at least initially, from jumping in on them, is the fact that they do have a lot of competition in their software. And what I don't know, so basically you're talking about like project management software. And because I don't have a personal knowledge of how it works and how it compares to anything else, it could be the best one. And if I knew it was the best one, I'd probably feel a little bit different. But since I don't know, I tend to, my stock trading strategy has really changed over the years, where I really try to look at somebody that exploits the market where nobody else is, or very limited. So there are no less than 10 pretty decent sized project management types of software. Again, I'm not saying they're as good as Asana. And then when you look at the financials, you got to really like the growth. And so the growth is great. And so like that's something that makes me think of it is a good thing. But then I look at, they're still burning a lot of money. And again, they're newer, but they're not like Snowflake news. Snowflake's 4 or 5 years old. Asana has been around, I think, from about 2007, 2008. So again, not that that's super old and they have to be making a profit at this point. But you just things you start to, question. So anyways, I think it's a good company at the right price. I'm all for buying something at the right price. And I think right now where it's trading, and somebody can correct me, and that's fine, because I always correct me if I do something wrong. But I think they closed around 28. And I knew they had like a reference of 21. 28 is basically where it was trading in their private markets. So it's probably not a bad price. But what I do know about Asana, they were trading, when you look at the ranges between $13 and $28 through this year, there was times where Asana sort of put in that they would not let the shares trade any lower than that. Now, a lot of that was because of the pandemic. But it does make you wonder when you see somebody do that, like what's the purpose? So anyways, just my thoughts. Doesn't mean it's a bad company. And again, you can always disagree with me, because I'm not a CFA. I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, good question. Robinhood IPO. Well, let me just tell you about Robinhood IPO. The day that actually I get more information I'm going to do a video on that, because for two reasons. One, I'm going to be as interested as you guys on that. I don't have a time frame. If I did, I would. What I don't want to do is put something out there that makes you click on it and then you're disappointed in it. I don't want to do that. I guess the clickbait, I guess, is what we call it. So I don't want to do that. But when it happens, I know not only am I interested, I know many of you are interested, but I also know that will be a video that will give me a lot of subscribers. And so as we're talking about growing the channel, like that will be one I will not miss. So, but at the same time, I thought about doing like a preview of what's potentially coming up, and I might put them in there, but I would definitely do that in a way where it wouldn't be something where you like, what, this isn't what you said you were going to talk about. So anyways, good question. Good morning from Sydney. Nice. Now we really are international. Awesome. This is fantastic. I would have never thought I started this channel like about 6 months ago, I guess now. And it was really, this came up this week. It comes up every once in a while. People say, well, what's the channel name? Why is it what it is? Doesn't make sense. And the reason is, for a lot of you that are new since the last live stream, is I am not a financial person. I've been investing for 25 years, almost 25 years. But my background is actually in rehabilitation. I'm a doctor of occupational therapy. And so with the pandemic, I've always loved YouTube. And I thought it'd be great to have a channel, but didn't have the time. I was traveling left and right every week for the last 2 years. And then the pandemic happened and I had more time. And so what I wanted to do was really have a channel that would just help people learn things. And it was going to be about wellness, personal finance, and some investing. And so what happened is a lot of the wellness stuff, never got to a whole bunch of that. It just wasn't, people didn't want to watch that. And the regular personal finance, there's thousands of those out there, so no one really caught it. So when I did my first IPO video, I think that was on Albertsons, and that caught on, and I got some subscribers there, and so that's how it's evolved. But yeah, so we really weren't meant to be just on IPOs, but that's what we've evolved to. And the question has come up, will you change the name at some point? And at some point, it very well could. But at this point, well, I know I'll always be talking about IPOs because that's why you guys are here. I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just doing them if there's something else that we can do. So anyways. Oh, I see, Jamie, Robinhood has lawsuits pending. Wow. See, that's something I'm not even aware of. Not surprising. I think about every big company does, but I'm curious what that is. To Card Arsenal, thank you so much. That's awesome. Is Palantir a dividend stock? I'm almost positive that when I looked at that they will not be, and that's not really a surprise. Again, they're not making a profit. When a company does choose to do a dividend, I try to add that into when I do the coverage, and just let you know that they're going to do that. So when we did the Albertsons one, I talked about it, and when we did Rocket Companies, which was another big name, initially they said no dividend, and so that's what I talked about, and it's in the S1. It's in the S1 filing. That's really, I think, the value I can bring to you guys, going through 100 and some pages and pulling out the pertinent information. But then they have the IPO, the price was down, and the CEO comes out and says, we're going to potentially look at that. So I was like, well, I put the clarification on that changed because they did not say they were going to do that. So anyways, would not expect Palantir to do dividend anytime soon, if ever. So good question. Okay, I see some guys have already put that in here. There's so many comments in here. Well, we're already a half an hour. See, I can talk, so we'll go a little bit longer. I don't want to, I want this to be smart for you, as far as not wasting anybody's time. Malik, you put a lot of money in there. I hope it works out for you. And that's the other thing. I always say this. When I like a stock or something, it's never because I'm a fan of a stock. You can always trust that I'm not just rooting for a stock because I want it to do well or because I have that. And that's why I generally won't tell you should buy something or not. And I actually don't watch a lot of other YouTube channels on this for a couple of reasons. One is a lot of them do that, and I won't do it. I'm just not going to tell you what to do. I trust you guys to do it. And I think what really is cool for me is that you will watch my stuff. And even though I'm not telling you to buy something or not buy something, you're looking for information. And that's what I'm hoping to give you. And so that's why I respect you guys. So I'm never going to tell you, because again, if I could know the price, what it's going to do in like 3 months, I would share that with you guys. I mean, we would all make a ton of money. So I see some familiar names out here. This is really cool. It's really cool getting to know a lot of you guys too. Really appreciate it. Just trying to see through all of these comments. Tesla's number one in EV. Yes. And I think it's going to be the wow. And what really I liked about Tesla, and again, this is not because I did tell you I have some shares. It's because I feel like they're so far ahead. Now, they did disappoint with their battery day. And of course, the S&P 500 thing didn't happen. But at the end of the day, I definitely think, you know, at the end of the day, I really think it's still a company that you want to watch closely because it's really overvalued probably, but I think the company, you know, is good. Now, Elon Musk, you know, he's a little different. Okay. Bridgestone SPAC. So that is something I'm sure we'll be talking about. I have not dug into Bridgestone because of so much going on, but I know Peter Thiel's involved, and so there's going to be a lot of interest. So definitely we'll be talking about that. Right now, I just don't have much more than that. So, Michael, would you buy Snowflake at this price? No, I don't know when you jumped on, but no, it's just too high, and it doesn't mean that it won't be $600 a month from now. It's just hard for me to justify it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it if you feel strongly about it. I just, you know, I just try to look at what the numbers could be. It's just that IPOs are so crazy right now. The interest is there that, you know, historically, a lot of IPOs don't do well after that first week or so. I don't know if Snowflake will be that position. I just wonder though. So, all right. Well, Bill, thanks for the compliment. You know, so we talk about, you know, the IPOs on the explanation. So the IPO this week, it actually takes me a lot of time to put that video together. And I know sometimes if you wanted to watch for one stock in there, I understand, like, you think, well, there should be a lot more information. And I don't disagree with you. It's just if you talk about 10 stocks, then it could become a really long video that most people don't watch the whole thing. So if I do a 15-minute video, the average time might be 7 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes. So what my thought is, and, you know, this is probably something I'll involve you guys in going more forward. And there are a couple of things I do want to talk about the channel. And I'll get to that in a second. But I'm pretty much losing my train of thought already. But with IPO this week, it's just really like, I want to touch every company that's coming out, so you guys at least get a little bit of information and see if it's something, you know, you need to look more into. For companies that I know are going to be popular, a lot of interest in, or for personal and selfish reasons that I'm interested in, those are the ones I'll do the extra videos on. So like for this week, obviously we did, you know, we did IPO this week, and then, you know, I also did the Palantir video because for both reasons, I was interested, a lot of you are interested, and so I did that. Some of the smaller ones, especially like the biotechs, unlikely I'm going to do a lot of those specialized ones just because a lot of those are years away from doing anything. So as far as the channel, so there are some things, and, you know, on the first live stream, we had a really good discussion because a lot of that was more just open forums and stuff. And we talked about some things about, you know, how the channel can grow. And I definitely want it to grow. I mean, especially seeing what it's doing now, and you know, the discussions that we're having. I mean, we have 96 people on. You guys are 38 minutes in with me, and we'll wrap it up soon because I don't want you to have to stay on forever. But so there's a couple of things that I wanted to do. Sean, on my first live stream, I don't know if you're out there, Sean, but we talked about doing some social media, like as an addition. And so my thought is with the channel is with the comments, and when you guys put a comment in, it helps the channel. I enjoy the discussion. As long as I can keep up with everybody, I'm going to answer every one of you guys. Definitely do that because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. But I think if a different forum where we could have more discussion between you guys, I think that would be really a cool thing. The concern that I have is I don't know if I have all the time to be moderating that. So I'd have to trust everybody just to be, you know, to be the reason we're here, which is really just to discuss and learn and talk, and, you know, not to how some sites go. And from what I'm seeing so far, I don't think that will happen here, but you never know. So anyways, probably narrowing it down to a few different sites that I'm going to do. I'm probably going to put a poll out so that everybody that wasn't able to get on the live stream today can maybe do a vote on that. So that's probably coming sooner than later. Another thing I've often said is as the channel grows, I'll put more into it. And that means a couple of things. One will be my time. I'll do more videos. And two is just resources. So I had a couple comments in the last couple of weeks about some of the audio. Some people, has just noticed that the audio could be better. And after really tuning it up and not really having heard that before, I see where they're coming from. So I literally just bought a new microphone. It came like a week ago, and so it didn't work. So right now they're replacing this cable for me to try that first. So I'm waiting for that. Once that comes, I'll try it. If that's not the problem, then I'll have to get a new one. But it's just a small example of what I will do to try to continue to improve the channel. So just let you guys know that. So let's, we're at 7:40. Wow. Let's go about 5 more minutes. Let me see if there's any really thing I can catch real quick here. Robinhood traders will be, but yes, yes, they will be. That's a great thought. But you know what? I was thinking about this with Robinhood. Robinhood could really use the new rules with the direct listing, and I think they should do this. And if Robinhood, anybody's affiliated with Robinhood, definitely show this. I would say they should do a direct listing, because it's sort of the problem with IPOs, and you guys are seeing this, and you saw it, it's pure as snow with Snowflake. With the underwriters, they get that price, they buy it at this price, and then they sell it out, a day later, and the stock price doubles, right? And so like the people making money are the institutional investors. And who better than Robinhood would be to turn that around? Now, the reason direct listings have been rare is because you can't come up with new additional shares and make money or raise money. So the idea with like Asana and Palantir is to just put their shares out there so that they're more easily traded, so they're more liquid. And I just feel like Robinhood should do a direct listing. Just a thought. Whether they will do, I don't know. Let's see. What you're saying is you don't want your channel to turn like last night's presidential debate. Absolutely. And so again, we don't talk politics on here, because I know no matter what happens, I would lose half the people, and I don't want to lose any of you. But that was crazy, and we don't want to do that. And so I've been really careful with, with how I've talked about Palantir, because there's pluses and negatives, but I understand like some people that would just have a big problem with them. I understand it. And I also understand people that really completely agree with what they do. I try to look at it again. Is it a good investment? Is it something that I personally think offends me? I'm not somebody that's really offended very easily. So it's a consideration. Anyways, awesome. Keegan says 100 likes before the video ends. That would be awesome. I have 106 people on. We have 42 likes. We're going to finish up soon. It would be awesome. Everybody hits that little thumb button. And I know sometimes people get tired when you ask for people to, to like or share. But anytime you hit the like button, do a comment, share the link to the video to anybody. That helps grow the channel. And again, it's just more to help grow the channel. And again, the more it grows, the less likely anything's going to pull me away from it. So nothing more than that. So, all right. Is Airbnb a buy when it comes public? Good question. And again, I'll be following Airbnb too. That was a video that really helped get the channel as well. It always comes down to the price for me. And I always say that, because I can like a company, but I ain't going to buy it at certain things. The thing about, I like about Airbnb is what they've done, but I also see concerns in their model. So what I'm looking is to get the actual filing, which we know there was how they put that, like the confidential type of filing where the SEC is reviewing it. Once that's released, I will have a video on that. I'll dig through it and we'll do that. So definitely do that. All right, guys, it's been 45 minutes. I am going to go ahead and end the video. And of course, there'll be a replay. And again, I'm going to really go through the live chat because I know I missed some of you guys' comments, and I will definitely try to answer things or at least add them to future videos. Because again, this channel, while what I know is I'm doing for what you guys want to hear and what I can bring hopefully value to you. It's not about what I want, it's about what we all want. So, the more you give me ideas, and really one of the idea for this live stream was sort of secondhand from a comment that somebody had said, like, will you do a recap what happened on that first day? And I was planning on doing that anyways, but just made me think, like, let's do an immediate one. Why wait? It takes me a few hours to put everything together. Let's go ahead and just go live. Maybe we'll do this more often. So maybe at the end of the live stream, if you like the live stream format, definitely send me a comment. And if you don't, I'll probably still do them. I really enjoy these. So anyways, you guys all have a great rest of the evening. I'll have my next IPO this week video out. Usually try to get it out Sunday or Monday. So definitely look out for that. And until I see you guys again, have a great rest of your week. Take care, guys.